You don't need permission to go after your dream. You don't need a degree. You don't need credentials. You just need a passion and the courage to go for it. If you've been waiting for a sign, then this is it. So exactly 14 years ago today, I published my first photography book. Now you would think, oh, I must have gone and gotten a degree in photography or took a course or anything like that. And the answer is, I really didn't. I just taught myself photography and took pictures of my kids over and over, started taking pictures of friends, family. It turned into a photography business that was thriving and I loved it. And then so many of my friends were getting DSLR cameras. I started teaching them and one thing led to the next and I decided to write a photography book. So how in the world did I think it was okay to actually put myself out there and write a photography book when I really didn't have the degree or the credentials behind me? Believe me, I asked myself that question over and over and over again. And the answer I always got was just because I wanted to, because it made my heart sing and I felt driven and a desire to do it. But just because I had that desire doesn't really mean that it was easy or it just flowed. So I had the idea to write this photography book. And I never wrote a single word for about 9 months. And what had happened is when I first had the thought and the idea, I shared that with a fellow photographer. And she kind of she didn't totally discourage me, but she was like, whoa, that's hard. That's gonna be a lot of work. So I kind of started thinking about that. And then as it got, as the weeks and months came on and on, I just talked myself out of it. I thought, who am I to write a book? Do I really even know that much? And just those negative thoughts just kept swirling in my head over and over. And I still wanted to do it, but I didn't move forward at all. Until one day I was getting online and my friend who had discouraged me, didn't discourage me, but just voiced some hesitancy, she actually came out with a photography book. And I was just floored. I thought, what? I was angry because I thought I had missed the boat. I had the idea, I should have done it, but now it's done. I didn't miss the boat, that's not true, but I did need to do something for myself. And I had shared my frustration with my husband, and he shared a book with me, and it's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. It's by Susan Jeffers. So I immediately read that book that day. It's pretty small. And I started incorporating her techniques and tools and her affirmations. And I determined that, okay, I'm going to write this book and I'm going to publish it on April 1st. That was 2011. I don't know why I chose April 1st. It wasn't a joke. I just chose April 1st. So I did it. I published the book, and you can say, well, the rest is history, and it really is. The book did amazing, and people learned so much from my teachings and me sharing what I knew to help somebody else. In fact, many of my students went on to become professional photographers themselves just from my teachings. So the truth is, when you feel compelled and feel a desire to do something, you don't need permission. You don't need anyone to tell you that it's okay, that you can go ahead. You can just do it. So Joel Osteen, he told a story about his father who, growing up, his family didn't go to church. And but he just, as he was getting to be a teenager and a young adult, he had this desire to be a preacher. And he wanted to do this. But he shared that desire with some people around him, and they were very doubtful. They let him know, what do you know about being a preacher? You've never been a preacher. There's been no preachers in our family. And he didn't let that deter him. He still gave it a shot. And so Joel recounts his very first sermon. He gets up and he's speaking about Samson in the Bible and sharing the full story of Samson. And little did he know that the entire time he was talking about Samson, he was actually calling Samson Tarzan. He got him mixed up in his head. So that experience could have wrecked him. I don't know if I would recover from that. That feels like it would be so humiliating, but he didn't let it humiliate him. He used it as just a stepping stone to say, okay, I've got some work to do. I need to learn this. I need to do that. And he did. He became better and better. And he ended up being a very successful preacher. But his son ended up being an even more successful preacher from his example and watching his dad do what he loved and move forward with it. So he dramatically changed his future, but even more, he changed his kids' future as well. So I don't still teach photography, but I am so grateful for that experience, for the ability to push past something that was really scary for me and to see that I could be so successful at it. I'm using that for this YouTube channel. It's pretty scary to put myself out there, even though I've done certain things and done a business before. But there's elements that I haven't done, and I have to remind myself that I can just do it. It doesn't matter if I have a degree in what I'm speaking about, or if I am certified, or if someone has told me it's okay. I can still do it, and I can still go after it. So I want you to stop waiting for it to happen. I want you just to start moving. Read that book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway if you need to. But know that you really can move forward, and realize that behind that fear is something so remarkable and will bless your life and your kids' life so much.